Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. This is where I take 5 topics related to Magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each topic. And at the end of the 5 minutes, I move on to the next topic. It's always quick, it's always snappy. You never know what you're going to get. And today, I'm going to be doing another live performance special. So we're going to have 6 segments here today, not 5 segments. And the idea is I'm going to take 3 clips of me performing at an actual gig. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play those 3 clips for you. After each clip, I'm going to play the clip again, but this time I'm going to put a commentary track over the top. Because I firmly believe that the best way to learn and the best way to get better is by studying your own footage and looking at other people's footage as well, and looking at performances. We can always improve. The day that we stop thinking that we can improve is the day that I'm going to get out of this industry. It's as simple as that. So I've been around for a long time. Hopefully listening to the commentary over these videos might help you guys with something that I'm aware of that you might not be. I'm not too sure. But these videos always tend to be really popular. So I'm going to do another live performance 5x5 special, and it's going to start right now. How are you doing? My name's Craig. This is Matt. He's videoing a thing for Sunday. Okay. I'm the magician. You look very excited about this. This is good. Would you like to see a trick?
I'd love to see a trick.
That's good, because I'm going to do one.
Excellent. Let's see how you get on.
We'll see how it goes. I can't say it's going to be a very good trick, but I'm going to try my best. Talk myself up. I'm not very good at that. I'll let action speak louder than words. Can you put your trick down for a second? So, do you want to shuffle the cards, or do you trust me? Apparently you don't. Never trust a magician who plays a cheat for a living, right? Now can you put them back in the original order? Now, what you just did there is an overhand shuffle. That's how most people shuffle. Yeah. You can always tell a magician does one thing. This is called a waterfall shuffle. You can always tell a really good magician they do a pharaoh shuffle. It's basically the same thing. It allows you to pull the card in your hand. It's kind of fancy. Curly shuffle blocks. This one is where you take the deck with your hand. You colour the deck with your hand. You shuffle the deck with your hand. You do absolutely everything with your hand. That's called a lonely guy who makes too much time on his hands. We're going to use 2 hands. So take a number card, not a picture card, any card with a number. Show each other, do not show me, by the way, before you come anything else, I'm going to show you that my pocket is empty. Right. That's important. It's also black one is. That's the pocket we're using those in. Now, I'm going to give you a pen. I'd like you to take the pen, write your name in big letters on the face of your card. Not on the back of the face, not on your face, on the face of the card, just on the pen. Underneath, you can put your bank account number and the card, that would be even better. So, the idea, it's very simple. You're going to put the card back. There we go. I'm going to leave it down. Simple. I'm going to try and find your card. Now, I'm actually going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do, which you shouldn't do as a magician. I'm going to make your card vanish and appear in my pocket that I showed it to you. Seriously, watch. When I snap my fingers, nothing in my hand, I just reach into my pocket. I pull one card out with the empty pocket, and it's your card. Thank you very much. I'm not kidding. Look, hang on. I'll show you. That's your card. Very good. Some people think that I take it when I throw it up the sleeve, across the chest, down the sleeve, into the pocket. That's what most people think I do. I wouldn't do that.
You're going to tell them that's not your card. That's your name's not Richard.
The card goes really down into the middle, right? Yeah. I'll do it again. Look, you just do this. You riffle. You snap. You show your hand empty. You reach into the pocket. And you show. What's that? I mean, it works every single time. I'm going to keep doing it until you like it. Now, look, let me just. I'll tell you how people think it works. They think it works one of 2 ways. Firstly, they think that the pocket is full of cards, which is why I always show it empty. The second thing that people think I do is they think I palm the card. Now, palming means holding the card secretly like this, and then reaching into your pocket and bringing it out. Now, I wouldn't do that. You can see that. The card really does go down into the middle. Genuinely, it's when I snap my fingers that you show your hand empty and reach into the pocket. And it works literally every single time. Now I'm going to do this one last time. So, okay, you ready? Last time. Do you see the setup? Yeah. Now, here's the tip to making it work. All you have to do is watch the pockets. If you watch the pocket, I promise you'll see it go. So look, I'm going to put the card right there. With your thumb, sir, can you push it in? Did you see it go? No? It's pushing the wrong across on the mouth. Look. So you're going to watch it now. But I'll tell you, one last time, we'll do it into this see it go, sir? I didn't. You know what I did this time? Look, I actually went one step further. Every single card has gone at 7 for the 7. And because the reason is over here in the pocket, that would be every other card in the deck. The only pocket that I'm left to do before I finish, can you hold that for a second, sir? The only pocket I've got left to actually go for is my inside pocket. Can you hold on to my pocket for me? Very good. Now you can see that there's nothing here in the inside pocket, sir. Are you ready? Big finish, I won't touch the deck. Hold it between your hands. The card will vanish and appear inside pocket. Are you ready? Gone. No, not the deck, just the card. The card's gone. If I told you it was in here now, would that be good? Yeah, that would have been good. Not that good. I went further because what was in there a second ago was my wallet. And now inside the wallet, not that, that's a prediction. Inside the second card is one thing on your card, not just any card. Okay, so this is Card to Pocket Extreme. It's my handling of Card to Pocket. You can learn it on the net tricks, but what we have here is when you're performing to a couple of guys like this, I normally like to do card magic, especially this type of card magic, card in the box, card to pocket, ambitious card, that sort of thing where it's just building and it's building and it's building. It's almost like a challenge style performance. Now notice, I asked the gentleman I'm performing for to put his drink down. Yeah, I saw there was a table nearby and I said, hey, can you put your drink down for a second? You are going to be faced in walk-around situations with people holding drinks. And how do you deal with that? Well, the easiest way is to get them to put it down or give it to somebody else. That's really the simplest way to do with that. What you don't want to do is have people trying to hold cards and hold drinks at the same time. It's going to be very difficult for them. And worst case scenario, they're going to spill it down themselves, which is never going to be good. So if you find somebody that you're going to be performing for and you know that they're going to need their hands, then the best thing to do is to have them put the drink down. Now, when I'm performing to a couple of guys like this, and you can see their arms folded, they're very guarded, I like to do a couple of flourishes first of all, just to establish credibility, but doing it kind of a funny, self-effacing way. That's really important. Because what you want to do is you want to, as I say, it's about establishing credibility. Now, I've spoke on this channel before about not actually starting off with card magic, and as a general rule, that's what you should do. But in this situation, I just knew that these guys would be into card magic, and I didn't see a problem with that. So this is card to pocket. Now, if you've never performed card to pocket before, the key thing about card to pocket is that you have to kind of eliminate every single way that they think it can be done. And I like to say to them, look, I'm going to get that card in my pocket. Now, the first phase here is the classic card to pocket that you'll see from the start of Magic, that's been around for a very, very long time. And it starts with a gag, but then you show that it really is their card. And you can see from the reaction, you can see that even though they're guarded, they're starting to lose their guard down a little bit. When you're doing a multi-phase trick and you want each phase to build, it's kind of really important to make it more impossible each time. So you can see that in this second phase, I'm being very fair. I'm saying, look, it's really down in the middle. I'm going to show my hand empty, and boom, it's there in the pocket. Doing a routine like this, misdirection is very, very important because it's really about where you want them to look and making sure that their attention is focused in the right place. Now, this particular phase of the routine is my absolute favourite. It's the one where you say, look, a lot of people think I hold the card secretly in my hand, I palm it and put it in. I wouldn't do that. It's very blatant, but trust me, it works every single time. When you're doing a multi-phase routine like this, by the way, you want to make it so that, I mentioned before about making each phase build, making each phase more impossible. The other thing that you need to do is you have to understand they're going to be watching more carefully each time. You have to vary the techniques up as well. And also, I want to talk to you about something very important here, which is changing things up on the fly. Normally, when I do this moment here, I don't do card to mouth. I load the card into my top pocket. However, I noticed that the guy on the left, not the guy I'm actually doing the magic for, but the other person, he was watching in just the right place at various different points. And even though he wasn't seeing anything, I knew that if I did it
into the top pocket, because the load takes a couple of extra seconds, there's a chance you could see it. So instead, what I did is I loaded it into my mouth. And I think it's important to understand that even though you might have a set script, even though you might have a set routine that you do, you have to be prepared to vary that up. It's really important to vary that routine up, because it might not be the best way to actually do something based on the situation that you're in at the time. So be prepared to vary stuff up is the important thing that I want to point out to you there. Now, outside of that, I think that these multi-phase routines need an ending. It's very, very important to have an ending. And a lot of the time with card to pocket, I see a lot of people going, it's going into the pocket, it's going into the pocket, it's going into the pocket. And then that's it, that's the end of the routine. You can see here that I finish off with a card to wallet, which kind of makes sense in the context of the routine, but it gives the routine an ending, which is really important. And I can't stress that enough, not just with this trick, but with any trick. If you're doing a multi-phase routine, you have to make sure that that final phase really kind of says to the audience, that's it, trick over, that's the finale, thank you very much, wham bam, thank you ma'am. And you have to think about how you're going to actually end this to make it sort of that final piece. And unfortunately, with card to pocket, a lot of the time, I don't see people doing that. And for me, the perfect way to end a card to pocket routine isn't that the deck goes into the pocket. Yes, I include that phase in my routine, but really, I think that the best way to end it is by having a card go into a wallet. I think that makes logical sense in the context of it.
Livy, nice to meet you, Livy.
Nice to meet you.
Would you like to see a coin trick?
I'd love to see a coin.
Oh no, I've got my groupies, that's all that's important. I have groupies, by the way, I've never had groupies. I've got in my pocket 3 coins. Now this is an old Walking Liberty $50.
Right.
Beautifully coined. I also have in my pocket an old English penny. So we've got an old English penny, very, very old. We've got an American $50, and I've got another American $50, 3 coins altogether. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. One at a time, I'm going to make these 3 coins disappear and appear in my pockets. Seriously. By the way, we're filming this for Patsy and Uncle Sammy. We're going to disappear and appear in my pockets. Are you ready? Watch. First of all, the silver coin, make sure I don't choose. I'm going to reach in, I'm going to take out one of the silver coins. Are you ready for this? What I have to do is squeeze, and when I do, it disappears and goes into the pocket. I thought that was pretty good. Let's do it again once. We've got 2 coins left. This time I'm going to go for the copper. Watch the copper coin, don't watch the silver coin. If I squeeze, the copper coin disappears. And the reason is that one's in the pocket. And the last one, this is the hardest one. Watch. One-handed. All I have to do is squeeze it when I do the final coin disappears. And the reason is I'm going to do it in my pockets. That's all. Now, I'll tell you what, we're going to go one step further very quickly. We'll get rid of one of the silver coins. Which one do you want me to get rid of? That one there, are you sure? So now we've just got 2 coins. You want to examine them? Are they okay? Yeah? Wonderful. So now we've just got 2 coins. It's easier to follow. It's called the 2-coin trick. Do you know why it's called the 2-coin trick? Because it uses 2 coins. Now watch the 2 coins. They go in the hand, right? Now if I reach into the hand and take out the silver coin, put the silver coin in my pocket, what does that leave there? That's the 2-coin trick. Remember, it uses 2 coins. There's always 2 coins. You have to remember that. Every time I'm putting my pocket, it's going to come back. So I can see the copper coin. If I put the copper coin into my pocket, what does that leave over there? No, I've talked to the copper coin. That is the 2-coin trick. It keeps coming back. So I'll do it again. 2 coins. I know what's going to happen. You see the silver coin. The silver coin goes into the pockets. What does that leave over there? It's the 2-coin trick. It uses 2 coins. I'll do it one final time. You've seen it 3 times now. 2 coins. Your choice. Do you want me to take the copper coin and put it in my pocket, or the silver coin? Your choice.
Why don't you both?
No, I'm only going to do one. You choose which one.
The copper.
The copper. Are you sure? Copper coin goes in my pocket. Now the copper's in my pocket. I've done it 3 times. How many are in my hand? 10.
Oh, forget it. It doesn't matter. It's all good. It's all good.
So this particular trick combines two tricks. This particular set combines two tricks from the Mirage coin set. First of all, you've got the 3-coin vanish by Peter Nardi, and then you've got the sort of Mirage hopping halves, which is the version of hopping halves by myself. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is that if you've got the Mirage coin set, you'll know that this particular first routine by Peter requires a table, and I've adapted it to be done walk around, which, you know, just suits my purposes perfectly in this particular environment. Now, I think the important thing when you're doing routines like this is to have absolute clarity of what's going on, because this is kind of like a challenge trick. You're telling them ahead of time you're going to make the 3 coins go in the pocket. You're telling them that's what you're going to do. So the vanishes have to be really strong, and your hands have to be seen very empty each time. You can see that the girls are looking at my hands, trying to figure out what's going on. When you're doing this sort of routine, it's really important that you stress and you show that your hands are empty, especially because you can't really do that with the final coin. So you can see that with the first 2 coins, I'm showing my hands completely empty. You can see the reactions from the kids there. They're absolutely blown away. You can see the reaction from the adult I'm performing it for. And this, by the way, is the sort of trick that's perfect for when you've got kids and adults watching you. You know, a lot of weddings and a lot of family parties, you're going to have kids there, and a lot of magicians will ignore the kids, and they think, oh, my magic doesn't work for children. Magic like this works for kids and it works for adults. You don't have to have special tricks just for kids. You don't really have to do that. All you have to do is perform the sort of magic, really visual magic, that they're going to enjoy as well. And notice I'm focusing on the adults here because that's who I'm being paid to perform for, but I'm bringing the kids in on the performance as well. So the first phase is done. Now we're going to go for hopping halves. And this is a perfect example with the Mirage coin set of how you can go from one routine to another very, very easily and very, very quickly. Now, with this sort of routine, again, this is kind of a challenge routine. Now, notice, you know, when you're performing in mix and mingle, you're performing in drinks receptions like this, you're going to be interrupted by people bringing canapes around, people bringing drinks around. You just have to adapt your performance to that, either by making it so that you can step back for a second, or you can carry on performing while the drinks are being served, something like that. The only other thing to note is it's important, and you can see this on the video as you're watching right now, it's important to keep track of where everybody is the entire time. Because for an angles point of view, I don't want people watching in the wrong place. So you'll notice from time to time, I'll turn to address the kids. And that's because I'm readjusting my angles. That's kind of a really important thing that you need to be aware of when you're performing in the real world. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really else to say about this. You can see that the reactions are really good. You can see that, you know, it just works. And I think if you can take anything away from this particular performance, take away the fact that you are going to be faced with having kids at gigs. You are going to be put into a situation where there's going to be kids watching you as well as adults. You don't want to come across as a kids performer. You don't want to come across as that person that just entertains the kids. So what you want to do is you want to do the magic, focus it on the adults, but make it the sort of magic that the kids will enjoy watching as well. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you.
My name's Craig. I'm not as dodgy as I look, honestly. I'm actually the entertainment here today. Part of it, I don't just stand still. That's amazing, by the way. But I'm the magician, so it's my job to do magic for you. Would that be okay? I come with 2 things. I come with my own groupis, and I come with my own camera person for Mrs. Sandy and Sandy Patelet. So, I'm going to show you one of my favourite tricks, and it uses pack playing cards. If you're lucky, I might do 2 tricks. But, what's your name, sir? Leonard. Leonard, sorry. Leonard, can you pop your drink down for a minute? Would that be okay? And I would like you to give these cards a bit of a shuffle. That would be amazing. Do me a favour though, when you finish shuffling them, please put them back in the original order because it makes the trick a lot better and easier for me. I like your technique. Thank you. So, I'm going to show you one of my favourite tricks, and it's going to involve 5 people. Your person number 1, person number 2, and then your person number 3, person number 4, person number 5. 5 people. I'm going to get 5 cards picked, and I'm going to try and find all 5 cards. Now, the boring bit is getting the cards picked. The interesting bit is finding. I'm going to riffle down the deck. I'm going to say stop. I'll show you the card and move to the next person. So, we'll start with you. Just say stop. That's good. Can you remember that card? It's very important you remember it, because later on when I dramatically say, this is your card, if you go, I don't know, it means it's impact. Can you just say stop?
Stop.
Near the bottom, can you remember that card?
Yes.
Burn it into your mind. Not literally, that would hurt, but get the idea. So you're going to pick a card. Are you ready? Just say stop. Near the top, remember that card? Except if you forget it, just lie and say yes, it will make me look good. Thank you. Right, say stop. That's your card, remember it? Extreme closer. Oh! That's your card. And finally, Lottie, last but by no means least, say stop. That's great. Remember that card, you got it? So guys, I'm going to try and find all 5 cards in order, going backwards, until I've found all 5 cards. Now, as I find each card, the applause is going to get louder. The roof will blow from the building at the end. It's going to be amazing. As I find each card, I'm going to pass them to you. You're going to be my glamorous assistant. Try and keep them in order. I'm going to start with you, Lottie. Are you ready? To find Lottie's cards, which could be anywhere in the pack, I'm going to give you the deck of Razzle Dazzle codes. Watch. You cut the cards like this. You cut the cards like this, like this, like this. You take the cards, you cut them like this, like this, like this, like this. You give them one of these, 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 one of these. They get 1 card and 1 card only. Plus, which your card, the Ace of Clubs. Yes! Do you see what I mean about the applause starting low? It builds. Your card was not the Ace of Clubs, was it? And if I snap my fingers, it turns into 2 cards. That would be your card. Yes, it was. There you go. You can hold on to that one. Remember to keep them in order. In order to keep them in order, we'll need the Ace of Clubs back. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. There we go. So we'll hold them face up like that. There we go. Your card, sir. You're going to find your card yourself. I'm going to go down through the cards. You're going to say stop. Wherever you say stop, that's your card. They're going to love you for this. They're going to carry you through the streets of wherever the hell I am, screaming your name. Are you ready? Say stop. There. Be honest, tell the truth, don't lie. Was your card the Jack of Clubs? And why did you stop me there? It was close to the Jack of Clubs, wasn't it? You see where that's a club there and that's a club? Watch this. All I have to do, don't blink. I just turn those clubs into spades and then we get the right card. That's what I thought. There we go. That's that one. I love the look on your face. You look like a rabbit caught in headlights. For you, I'm going to take 2 cards out of the pack. These 2 right here. These are the 2 cards, the 9 and the 6 of spades. Not your cards, I get that. 2 cards gone, 50 to go. It's a long trip. Watch the 6, watch the 9, don't blink. I do this once, twice, 3 times. 1 card appears in between. No, 1 card only. That would be the 5 of diamonds. Is that your card?
Yes.
Don't you think this is fine?
What are you going to do?
It's a bit weird, isn't it, really? Your card. Do you want me to find your card in 1, 2 or 3 seconds? 1. You ready? Watch the deck. 1. Did you see it go? So when every single card in the pack goes right there, leaving 1 card and 1 card only. The 3 of clubs, that's your card. And that's every card in the pack. But, thank you for your random indifference. I appreciate that. But here's the thing. Hold these like this. Hold these just there like I have. There you go. Because the thing is, turn them around like that. There you go. Hold them like that. There we go. Just like that. Perfect. Because the thing is, I found those cards using sleight of hand. I mean, the cards disappear with sleight of hand. If I told you I knew what those cards were 3 years ago, would that be good? And the order in which you picked them. And I did, because 3 years ago I made a permanent prediction that's been staring you in the face from the very beginning. It's called a tattoo on my arm with an ace of clubs, a 2 of hearts, a jack of spades, a 5 of diamonds, a 3 of clubs.
There you go.
That's crazy.
And thank you for helping me. You can keep those 5 cards.
Very good.
You don't want them, that's fine. I got these behind Lottie, that's okay.
Right, so you can see the introduction that I used to this group of people. You can see how I introduce myself, and I can point out I'm the magician, I'm here to perform for them. The other thing that I point out at this point is that I come with my own groupies. I say, hey, 2 things that you need to know. 1 thing is I come with my own groupies. Now, the reason that I actually said that is because those girls in this particular gig were following me around. And you'll find a lot of the time at weddings, you're going to have kids following you around. And I've talked about the various different ways of dealing with it. One way is to use rubber bands. And unfortunately, I had no rubber bands with me at this gig, which is why there's none on my wrist. The other thing to do is just paint it red. So, you know, if there's kids following you around like there is in this situation, I'll say, hey, I come with my own groupies. I'm very excited. Never had groupies before. And it kind of just makes the thing a joke. And I bring the kids in on it. So I'll say to the children, hey, you know, if you're going to be following me around, that's fine. But you've got to be absolutely an amazing audience. And you've got to clap and cheer. Can you do that for me? Brilliant. So a lot of the time, don't look at kids following you around as a negative. Look at it as a positive. Now, in this particular routine, it was a bigger group of people. I had the 2 kids and then I had 3 other people. It was a bigger group of people. So I decided to kind of do a multiple selection routine with 5 cards. And I do lots of different multiple selection routines. But one of the things that I do like to do is I do like to have 5 people pick cards and do the multiple selection routine, but finish off by... I do like to do the multiple selection routine, but finish off by showing that I've predicted the 5 cards from the very beginning, because I think that gives the routine a big finale. Because the problem with multiple selection is, you know, it becomes a bit anticlimactic. Well, yeah, he's found all of the cards, but if you can have a kicker at the end, that's even better. Now, it's an easy thing to do, because all you need to do is just make sure that you've got 5 cards on top of the deck and you just riffle force the 5 cards. I honestly think when you're doing a multiple selection routine, the riffle force is one of the easiest ways to do it, especially in a walk around situation, because people are going to be holding drinks. They're not going to be able to take cards off you. So by just doing a riffle force and then just dropping 1 card each time, it allows you to have people pick the cards without actually holding on to them. And it also controls the cards at the same time. So it kills 2 birds with 1 stone, but because you're riffle forcing the cards, it means that you can have a final prediction at the end. Now, I use a tattoo at the end, which you probably aren't going to want to do, but you could have a picture of the 5 cards that you give out to somebody at the beginning, an envelope, anything like that. Now, you'll notice that I'm going into the actual revelations now, and I like each revelation to build. I like each revelation to become more impressive. I always do a fancy cut at the beginning just to establish credibility, and then I go into a change, and I like to use the top change, and you probably saw the top change back there. I could do an entire video on the top change, but the key thing is, don't be scared of the top change. The top change is literally changing the top card of the deck for the card in your hand. Now, if you actually think about it like that, it's not a difficult thing to do. I think sometimes in card magic, magic in general, to be honest, we become very, tricks become, or sleights become more difficult than they should be, because they sound more difficult, right? But, you know, there's nothing difficult about the top change. You're just switching the top card for another card in the pack, right? Nothing for the top card of the deck. Nothing really difficult about that. Now, when you're doing a multiple selection routine, as you can see, I like to keep the pace really fast. I like to because if you're doing multiple revelations, you don't want this to go on forever. So, you know, this is a 5-minute routine, but in this 5-minute routine, I'm finding 5 cards, I'm doing all of this stuff. Again, I say that I want each revelation to build. Some people are going to be thinking, really, a sandwich production? But I gotta tell you right now, laymen just love sandwich routines. They really do. Now, you notice that I ditched the pack in the pocket there. People say to me, what's the best way to ditch a deck? And my attitude is just do it. You saw me just blatantly put it into my pocket there and nobody saw anything. The reason nobody saw anything is because they weren't focused on that. They were focused somewhere else. And that's really important. And I love making the deck disappear at the end of a multiple selection routine. For me, it's a great way to punctuate the whole thing. You know, the entire deck vanished. But then we've got this extra moment of, well, you guys picked 5 cards. You shuffled a deck. You took any 5 cards that you want to. And remember, they did shuffle the deck at the beginning. I palmed the 5 cards off, get them to shuffle the deck, and then I took it back. And then you've got this incredible revelation. It always gets an insane reaction, like every single time. And if there's one thing that you can take away from this video, it's that if you're doing a multiple selection routine, put something extra at the end. You know, try forcing the cards, because then you can have this incredible prediction at the end where they shuffled the cards, they cut the cards, they did absolutely everything, and you were able to predict the 5 cards that they were going to pick in the order in which they were going to pick them. I mean, how incredible is that?
So there you go, guys. That's another 5x5 in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again tomorrow at 6 o'clock with a Magic Live and 9 o'clock with another video. There's tons coming up on Magic TV. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.